Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Excerpts from Experts. As you know, Career Beacon has taken an initiative to simplify the national education policy in terms of what educators, teachers, as well as the deans of the higher education organizations are sharing. So far, we have been speaking to a couple of educationists who were from the teaching fraternity, who were from the school fraternity, who were from the higher education thing. We have spoken to Harikrishna Madam, who is the digital ambassador of India. We have also spoken to the career co-counselors. We are speaking to another set of educationists. So, with the progression of our discussions, where we land up is we land up to directly to Kerala today, wherein we are at Kannur with one of our eminent speaker, Mr. Radhakrishnan C, who is having over 2.5 years, 2.5 decades of the experience in the education fraternity. He is a person who has experienced in the K-12 domain with the demonstrated history of working in the education management industry. As I've said, he has worked over 25 years. He's a skilled teacher. He's skilled in teacher training, educational assessment, K-12 education, lesson planning, educational consulting, writing the articles, research presentation, and national and international conferences. He has widely traveled and studied the K-12 schooling system, both in India as well as at abroad. He's having a strong educational profession. He's a strong educational professional with multiple degrees like MA, MA, MBA, HR, SET, NET, and from the reputed universities like Manipal, Pune, and Calicut. Right now, he is based out of Kannur, Kerala, and he is going to share his views on national education policy. Welcome, Mr. Radhakrishnan, to our show, and we are really happy and delighted to have you with us. Well, before we go to the question answers and the formal round, I would like you to set up the context of the national education policy. As you are a veteran into this industry, so you might be knowing what are the positives, what are the loopholes of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, now you can see that all over the country, everyone is discussing about national education policy. Whether you are a professional or a homemaker or a business person, whomsoever, or an industrialist or a hardware, whatever you are into the discussion of national education policy. From that itself, we can understand the importance of this particular policy. It is going to affect each and every person. Why it's going to affect? Because it's all about the future of our children. That means the future of the society, the nation, and the world. So now, the point is, when it is promulgated by the government, most of the time we see plus and minus. People start seeing plus and minus. Now, if we speak about the document, we can see that it's a continuation of previous education policies. Whatever we see, the discussions on TV channels, media, and all, forget all that. If you delve deep into this document, we can very clearly see that it's a continuation of previous education policies. All the previous, I am not naming whether it is Kavita Rai Commission or like that. I am not going to take the history of the whole thing because that we have you might have been heard in various discussions. So there is no need of going into that. If we look into the earlier education policies, input was given much emphasis. But now the government has decided that we had put up a lot of inputs. Now it is time for us to really think about the output. So one of the corner principle of this policy is output, efficacy, how effective what we are implementing. It's focusing on that. And I really like that part because going on focusing on input without focusing on output won't help us because we are investing. We are investing human resource, we are investing a lot of financials, we are investing. So it is very essential for us to focus on the output because output matters because it's our children. How the final product over here is our children, their future, their career. and the future of the country. So output is very important and our government is focusing on that. That's wonderful. Now, coming to the document's merit or demerit, what I can say is, merit is, it's a wonderful document touching most of the aspects. Even though it is focusing on output, it is talking about the process, the implementation, most of the things it is focusing. Now the thing is, we got a document. How we are going to implement it, that is the most important aspect. Just having a beautiful document won't produce the result. Now, how the various bodies coordinated each other, various ministries, various education boards, how all these people come together and as a team going to implement it, how they understand the ground level scenarios. Why I'm talking about the ground level, zero level scenario. Just for example, to set the context I am talking, just for example, coding. We wanted to introduce coding right from grade 6. Excellent decision. In the document it is there. Now, come to the challenge, the ground level. Lot of surveys conducted recently, and we have found that only around 30% of the schools in the country are having at least one computer. That's the challenge. How we are going to meet this requirement? And again, another challenge, another merit and also its challenge I'm going to talk. That's about compulsory free education. We used to give for 8 years. That means grade 1 to 8. That was the practice. Even according to the RTE of 2009, it is mentioned that grade 1 to 8, even though the Supreme Court told decades before, it should be up to 18 years, free and compulsory education, but we couldn't. Even in 2009, we included 1 to 8. Now, 7 more years are added according to the new education policy. 7 more years are added. How 7 more years are added? Nursery to UKG, if we take the foundation stage, we have included. That means 3 years have come over there. Then again, 9 to 12, that means 4 more years. So 7 years added to 8. So from where the fund will come? Because 4.6 we are spending now, and we have increased it to 4.6%. We have increased the budget allocation. It is to that 6%. So within this 1.5 increase of budget allotment, can we meet this 7 years? Because 50% burden has increased for the government when we are including foundation stage and also the secondary stage, that is 9th to 12th, is another challenge. So all these things, how the government tackle, how we implement it, depending on that. That is the way I wanted to bring you to the point. So there are merits, lot of plus, there are lot of challenges. I am not calling it as demerits. There are challenges. There will be challenges always. How determined our policy makers are to set the challenge. And again, the last point in the beginning, as introduction, I wanted to tell. In the document, lot of things are mentioned. And much of the things told that different boards will prepare in 2022, 2025, 2030, etc. How these boards bring about their document in the concerned areas, the implementation strategies, that also matters. For example, National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education. They are mentioning about National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education. NCTE has to prepare by 2022. How they prepare this document and what will be the content of that matters. So there are merits and also certain challenges going to come. How we tackle it, that will decide the future of new education policy and also our children and also of the country. Yes, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for setting the context, Ms. Radhakrishnan. This itself shows that how are we really, the implementation is going to be a little challenging. And of course, everyone has to collaborate together because this is not a
Exactly.
one party, one body show. It's a multidisciplinary. When we are talking about multidisciplinary thing, at the same time, multiple teams are also required for it. Well, thank you so much for this input. Now, you have already set the context, but there are certain things which are actually boiling down as we are going further or proceeding further in the 66-pager policy. Now, the first thing it shows is that there is a teacher recruitment, which is a biggest question mark that has come, because
Yeah.
now the education, leave apart how the implementation would be. If at all we are thinking about interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary thing, mother tongue to be included, then we are focusing on early education or the pattern changing from 10 plus 2 to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So there are multiple things, and biggest stakeholders who are, I believe, who will be convicted or confiscated would be the teachers. Now, I would like to know that what is the policy speaking about the teacher recruitment, and will the teacher recruitment would be the same as we have been doing in past? Also, here I have one more question. You being a person who has been into the teacher training, you have been the principal of multiple schools. While you're recruiting the teachers, what is the basic skill that you look at the teacher recruitment, and what is lacking? How can they uplift themselves? This is something which is a very crucial question, and a person like you who is no longer a school principal but is working with a research body can actually help us to guide it.
Yeah. And while talking about teacher recruitment, first we can see, as ma'am was ending her question with that, what you look at present when you recruit a teacher. We look at the teacher, we look at the candidate, look from the candidates mainly. Their desire to become an outstanding teacher. Without that attitude or without that attitude and also that desire, coming to this profession won't help. Because as a teacher, you can't be mechanical. Why? Because you are not going to deal with dead files on a day-to-day basis. You are going to deal with living files. Each and every child in your class is a file with a life. And that life is going to provide the future of the country, future of a family, society, and country. So attitude that matters. Then skills. Set of skills a teacher needs. It is not only intellectual in the sense, it is not only the knowledge you acquire, the emotional, socio-emotional skills you acquire. That matters a lot. Because you have to get into the children, for getting into the children and operate from the heart. You need excellent socio-emotional skills. Then coming to the knowledge part, yes, you of course you need knowledge. But what happens at present? We are moving from people who give knowledge or transfer knowledge to people who train the kids in different skills. Because previously our focus was on transferring knowledge. So we emphasized much on knowledge of the teacher. Now, knowledge is available just on fingertips. Now, the teacher should be able to transfer different types of skills, including certain professional skills. So, we have to look into that aspect too. Now, in the 21st century, 4 C's we used to talk about. So, teacher also must have these 4 C's. And what I wanted to say is, in the present context of 21st century, whether it is new education policy, whatever it is, whatever policy you follow, teacher must understand that the present education system should be a marriage between knowledge, socio-emotional skills, and professional skills. If that marriage happens, if teachers can solemnize that ceremony, that marriage ceremony, that means marriage between knowledge, socio-emotional skills, and professional skills. If you can solemnize that marriage ceremony, you will become an extraordinary teacher. From that itself, you can understand what the principals or directors of schools and colleges, whomsoever it may be, they may be looking into the candidates coming for interview, because this is very essential. Along with knowledge, you should have excellent socio-emotional skills and also certain professional skills and integrity, attitude, etc., to set the context for educating the kids. That is very important. Now, coming to the new education policy. Now, how we are going to make the teachers of that caliber? Now, 4 years integrated program, the government wanted to introduce by 2030. And at present itself, you can see that government has modified from 1 year to 2 year programs and all. But as much we expected, curriculum change didn't take place. In the traditional style, only our B.Ed programs or B.Ed or M.Ed programs are going on. But at the same time, when they come to the school, the whole scenario changes. There are a lot of edutech things. Many teachers fail to integrate it. So now when we are recruiting, it comes to recruitment, we should have a strategy to analyze the edutech skills of the teachers also, how they are going to integrate the edutech. And many teachers are worried about, if technology comes, what will happen to us? And I can tell you, education is all about link between two hearts, heart of a teacher and heart of a child. So never that link between hearts can be avoided by technology. That link can be established only by human touch. So teacher's status will be there. So only one thing I wanted to tell you is teachers should be adaptive and adapted to use technology in the classroom. Now recruitment. Government is telling that teachers have to complete 4 years of integrated program, dedicated integrated program, and they are planning to have a new system of curriculum. As I was telling in the beginning, a national professional standard for teachers will be set up. And National Teacher Education Council is interested for creating a national curriculum for teachers. We hope when the NCT set up such a curriculum, there will be the points that we were discussing just now. That means they will modify the curriculum completely to adapt and change the teachers to the new environment. And government is also talking about a national level testing for the teachers. So how that testing will be conducted, we have to see what NCT and also national level testing agency, etc., going to create, the policy is going to create. And it is said that most probably there will be a licensing system coming up for the teachers. And we are not sure whether it will be like in Europe, some of the European countries, teachers will be getting, now we have CTET or something like that, and also licensing for 5 years. Okay, you appear for a test and you get the license and you can teach for 5 years. And after 5 years, again, you have to reappear for the test and you have to qualify. Most probably that system government will be implementing over here also. So that will be the preliminary recruitment system. That means you are appearing for a national level exam. You are qualifying yourself. Once you are qualified, you will be able to work as a teacher. Otherwise, you won't be able to work as a teacher. And after 5 years, you have to again appear. If you qualify and get the license, you can be continued as a teacher. Otherwise, you will be out of the profession. So such a system is going to come. All these things, some of these things hypothetical. We don't know actually how the government is going to implement. But such a thing is going to come. Teachers should be prepared for that. Then government is telling that to improve the quality of teachers, because when we are talking about recruitment, we are talking about recruitment mainly because we wanted to see better teachers and better standard for education. Government is talking about national mission for mentoring. So I think what role this mentoring will play, we have to think about. We don't know exactly what is the role of this mentoring. Maybe they may be used for in-service courses, or even after recruitment, there may be an onboarding process like we do in certain companies now. At present, schools are conducting onboarding process, but how much effective efficacy is there, we are yet to see. Government may be planning for an onboarding system like Indian Administrative Service, those who qualify. There is an onboarding process for 1 or 2 years. Whether government is planning for such a thing, that when the implementation stage comes, we can see how the recruitment process government envisions. And when we are looking forward to this national mentoring, national mission for mentoring, and government is telling that senior educators and also retired educators will be members of this. And here it will be a challenge. Sometimes it may be a challenge whether these senior people and retired hands will be updated with the modern tools and techniques. Otherwise, again, it may take us back. That's what I am worrying, because government is not talking about youngsters in the team. Government is talking mainly about senior teachers, and I am not talking about experience always matters. But I have a concern whether these senior professionals and also retired hands will be adaptable to the modern techniques, modern tools and techniques. That's a concern, especially when coding, etc. comes. That is a thing I wanted to talk about recruitment process.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Mr. Krishnan, because what you are saying is what I can understand from the complete thing is that today teachers, the way the teacher recruitment is happening, it might change wherein the license system can come, wherein it is having a validity that how long you can
Yeah.
teach. Of
Yeah.
course, that will also change the paradigm of the things, because people have been teaching in their own styles and their own ways, and I believe this would be
Yeah.
a turnaround to that. Well, with this, I believe parents and teacher understanding each other would also be enhanced, as you have already touched upon the 4 C's. So collaboration and communication, that is something which is really important, and
Yeah.
parents and teacher need to balance with both of them. Now, with this, we have been talking a lot about this particular aspect, that 10 plus 2 to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So, what exactly is going to change? Will it be the complete syllabus which would be divided into these blocks, or how is it going to change? If you can share some insights on it.
Yeah. Now the government is talking about a new model to change 10 plus 2 system. Yeah. Now foundation stage. Foundation is, as you know, foundation stage. Then then preschool stage. Then comes the middle school, then the high school. It is going like that. In the foundation stage, nursery to now present, in the present context, if we talk, we can see that in the foundation stage, we can see the what I can say nursery to grade 2. And when we are talking about nursery to grade 2, you are talking about parental role. Yes. Now we are going to implement this 1 to 5 itself. That means preparatory stage of second to third to fifth, and also the foundation stage of this nursery to second. That means total nursery to fifth. Okay, in that area we are introducing mother tongue, and this introduction of mother tongue is going to change a lot the whole system of relationship between parents and teachers. That's what I believe. And in the early stage, that means nursery to second, parents can guide a lot. Now, at present, what happens, especially among the middle class and also higher class, children are opting for what I can say the English medium education. So, as a result, many parents are not able to support the children at home. Now, what happens? Parents will be able to support a lot when it is in mother tongue. Parents can also understand what is really happening in the school. So there should be a collaboration between teachers and also the parents. And our focus is here not just transferring knowledge, as I was talking earlier. It was not transferring knowledge. It was to set, it is not only to set the knowledge background for middle and secondary education, it's also for setting socio-emotional skills needed to face the stress and also the burden they are going to face in 6 to 8 and 9 to 12. And as we used to talk, home is the best school, best and first, or I can say home is the first and best school in the world. So parents have a great role to play along with the teachers. Because the first stage of education may be only for 3 to 4 hours in the school. Children may be for a long time at home. And at present, what we do is we focus mainly on writing skill, lot of writing for the children. All these are going to change when the new curriculum framework comes. Because there will be a new curriculum framework coming up. Because NCERT is already entrusted by the government to create a new curriculum framework. So in that new curriculum framework, as per the 2005 curriculum framework, we can see that it is only from grade 1. It starts from grade 1. Now the new curriculum framework may start from, I am using May because I don't know how they are going to implement it. So if I am not that sure whether it will, but to a large extent, I am sure that I believe that the new curriculum framework will include from nursery onwards, there will be a curriculum created by NCERT. And in such a curriculum, there will be a greater role for the parents to do, because in the school, teachers will be focusing on some basic skills, socio-emotional skills, playway method, and something related to knowledge transfer. So all these things should be experimented at home. That means how children relate to their neighbors, other family members. In all these, parents have to play a key role. So there should be closer association between teachers and also parents in the coming days when the new curriculum framework comes, especially 1 to 5th. And when we move to 6 to 8th, here too, when we are moving to 6 to 8th, here too, lot of options will be there. So parents also can play a role along with teachers to find their interest, rather than forcing them to follow the interest or aspirations of the parents. Parents have to try and work with the teachers to find their real talents during these first 8 years. Because when we calculate from nursery to 5th, 8 years you are getting. Within that 8 years, you should focus on finding the real talents of the teachers by working with the parents and all. Both of them should work together. Then it will be easier for you to choose between subjects, because from 6th onwards there are options. So that selection you can do. And ma'am was asking me what all subjects will be there, like that. And in that, now government is planning to introduce an interdisciplinary schooling. So I don't want to use subjects. So there will be an interdisciplinary schooling. Now you know Finland is the only country where subjects are removed from school curriculum. Subjects are not there now, only interdisciplinary. So most probably our government is also targeting to reach that stage at least within 5 years or 6 years, or in the coming few years, they may be targeting for that. So there will be interdisciplinary teaching. And within that interdisciplinary teaching, there will be plenty of subject-related topics or subjects. You can choose between from 6th onwards. And when the subjects I mentioned, government is planning to remove scholastic and post-scholastic barrier, vocational barrier too. Because when it is interdisciplinary, you can't have certain subjects as a special class. That special class in the sense curriculum, and certain other branches as co-curricular, and certain other branches as vocational. In that way, it cannot be. You cannot make it as interdisciplinary. So all these things will be pulled together into one category. That means there will be a mixing of present curricular, post-scholastic or co-curricular, and also the vocational. And from these teachers, the children will be able to choose between. And in this section, what to the parents I wanted to tell. In this selection, parents also have a great role to play. Parents also should understand what the child is really interested. And according to that, the selection should be done at 6th. That will prepare them for the high school. Because the 3 years, it is an integrated program of 3 years to a large extent. Because every year now annual exam is not going to have. That's what the government is telling. Every year annual exams won't be there. There will be only formative assessment. And another exam will be there in the 8th, 10th, and 12th. So when you are reaching, and in 5th also it will be there. After 5th, you will be 6th and 7th. School-based assessments only will be there mainly. Then in 8th, they have to appear. That means a 3-year integrated program. And that program will be semester-based. That is another point you were asking me. Semester-based. That means it will be 6 months semester. A semester-based system will be there.
With the 1 minute, with the semester-based thing, will the course will be the same what we had, or it would be split into the semesters so that new bottle and old wine?
Yeah,
How
I
it?
am coming to that point. I am coming to that point only. I am coming to that point only, ma'am. In
Yeah,
semester, you may think that whether the child will be learning all the 3 years, same English, Hindi, Malayalam, science, like that. No, it won't.
right.
Each semester you may be getting in each semester different sets. And there will be a core interdisciplinary subject that you can continue all the 3 years. But at the same time, there will be subsidiary optionals which get over within semester. So in first semester, you will be having sometimes art and history. The integration of art and history in first semester, you may be studying. And after
With this, 1 minute. With this, do you think the course would be little tougher or much easier? Because so far, what we have developed a pattern of studies, and I'm sure the kids who are going to appear into these classes will not have. But our teachers are equipped in the same manner to teach the subject. So, how do you think they would be able to cope up with this system? Because now it would be a semester system, and teachers are, if they have to teach algebra, they will come with a particular formula: a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square is equal to plus 2ab, and
yeah,
then they will put the things. So, how are you going to manage that? How teachers are going to manage that?
an excellent question. That's a real challenge. That's a real challenge. Now, teachers are involving in compartmentalized teaching. A physics teacher at present won't be ready to integrate or collaborate with the art teacher or physical education teacher. So here comes the role of in-service courses. Now, CBSE is already into, now if you are looking at CBSE is already into a lot of training programs online they are conducting on a day-to-day basis. Now, NCERT has also to focus into this, and they have to develop excellent. NCTE and NCERT should work together, and based on the new curriculum framework, they have to develop a system of in-service courses for the teachers. How interdisciplinary teaching can take place in the schools. Because interdisciplinary teaching is a totally different concept. Because while teaching, suppose you are teaching a particular topic. Now, suppose you take, for example, you are talking about energy, you are talking about a topic called energy. Then how you are going to integrate that with art? How you are going to integrate that with a physical education? All that matters. So teachers need proper guidance and training for that. And at present, what we are doing as a school or as a research organization, what we are doing is we are looking and started developing certain curriculums for training our teachers. Our own strategies we are developing. And we started imparting 21st century practices of teaching. Like that, we started guiding the teachers slowly. And this year itself, CBSE has taught us to create an integrated interdisciplinary project. This year, CBSE has told that there should be an interdisciplinary project at high school level. Even for 9th and 10th and all, there should be interdisciplinary projects. And teachers are working on it. So I think all these will provide certain lights to the teachers. And within 1 or 2 years, I think we will be able to train the teachers for interdisciplinary teaching. And when we are talking about interdisciplinary teaching and all, again, assessment is a main challenge. We are teaching the children interdisciplinary. Then the assessment also should be interdisciplinary. Otherwise, what is going to happen is we used to talk a lot about differentiated teaching. This is what happened till today, differentiated teaching. And after children go through differentiated teaching, and finally they have to appear for a standardized exam. That means the whole concept is defeated. That's why stress started coming up in our education system. One of the reason for stress among the children is not the, I don't think that it is because of the burden of the syllabus. Rather than that,
Actually,
we
we are deviating here from the topic of national education policy. To be very honest, let's not talk about that how the thing would be.
yeah.
Before we, wrap up the session, I would like you to give me crisp 5 points that parents can take away from this national education policy
Yeah.
before they, land up to the actual implementation phase.
Yeah, actual implementation for the parents. First thing is parents are going to get a clear-cut system from nursery to 12th. And within that, if I point as second point, I can tell nursery to UKG was left out. So schools used to do as the way they wanted. Now that is going to be systematized. Then the third point, coming to the third point, the financial burden of the parents on educating their kids up to 18 years goes from them to the government. Then the fourth point, till now your children were experiencing just transfer of knowledge. Now government is going to focus mainly on skill-oriented teaching. So that will help your children prepare better for life. And, and when we move up from 6 to 8, in that way, if you think as fifth point, I can tell you, the burden of children is going to come down because right from 6th, they can opt subjects. Suppose a child is not interested in maths, he can escape from that right from grade 6 and he can focus on the areas in which he or she has aptitude. So that is my fifth point. So I think altogether, it will be a great experience for schools, teachers, parents, and all the stakeholders if the government implements it with the right spirit. That's what I feel. Over to you.
Very well said. Yeah, very well said. In fact, I was reading to one of the excerpt that my colleague has shared you in one of our magazine that what exactly is the national education policy is going to say. She mentioned that NEP focuses on the radical shift, which is radical shift, which will bring the needed relief from the tunnel vision of the restricted student potential. So, what you have said, I can correlate to what she has mentioned during the thing that what exactly NEP is going to lead. And from your session, what I am taking, because we have to take one excerpt which would be published along with the the complete video. It says that transfer of knowledge would be there. Transfer of knowledge to the skill oriented training will be the better except in terms of the national education policy, though it is going to lower the burden of the education. And while you said that the financial burden will be shifted from the parents
Yeah,
to the government, so it is yet to come, but still this is something that was really important for us. And you have thrown a very bright light on the teacher training. You being a principal, you have shared that what are the kind of things, that skills and attitude, these are the things, plus the desire to serve people,
yeah,
to ensure that enlighten and be a beacon, that matters a lot. It was lovely having you, Mr. Radhakrishnan, for this session. Your insights were quite amazing, wherein you were giving a different perspective altogether, either in terms of the recruitment, either in terms of the content and the curriculum. We are going to bring education e-conclave on 5th of September, which I'll be sharing with you. And
yeah,
for the viewers who are going to watch this episode, you might see that brilliant points have been pointed out by Mr. Radhakrishnan on the teacher recruitment, what exactly is expected out of the teacher when the principal is recruiting. And of course, there is a very clear-cut message to the parents in the 5 points that what exactly are the crux or the nectar of the national education policy which they are going to witness in future for their kids. So with this, we sign off for today's session. Thank you so much, Mr. Radhakrishnan, for being with us. Myself and my colleague Kavita, both of you, are really grateful to you for sharing your valuable time and the insights. We will be publishing it on our YouTube video as it is already going live and also on the session. And we will get back to you once again on the 5th of September for the National Education Policy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the opportunity. Thank you,
Thank
University.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Bye bye.
you. Yeah. So now we